Happy Thursday from my home office, otherwise known as my bedroom that is full. I gotta show you guys what's going on here. I just did the laundry yesterday and the dogs came in today with muddy feet. Look at. So now I've got to strip the bed again today and redo it all, but whatever. Life is fine. I can handle it.
I love that you show us that, Jillian, because when we see your photos, like everything's so beautifully white and sparkling. And I love that your stories are the real deal.
Yeah, totally. It's because I love pretty pictures. I love styling things. I love capturing it. But I just want people to know that that is not real life and you can't see the mud prints from a picture far away. You just can't. So.
That's what we love about you. I'm so excited for today's chat. So let me do an official introduction and then we'll get started. Welcome everyone to Together We Rise, uplifting conversations for challenging times. This space was meant to be a time where we bring on an inspiring guest at 1 p.m. Eastern time daily to talk about how they're coping with COVID-19, because wherever you are in your life today, whether it's a good day, whether it's a bad day, we're all coping in different ways. And so the longer that we're in quarantine, the longer that we're physical distancing, we can really feel a toll on our mental health. And that's why we love to hear from inspiring guests on how they're coping so we can get some of their wisdom and advice. I want to introduce today's guest with a very official bio introduction. Jillian Harris is a mother, fiance, storyteller, TV host, and quintessential busy bee who pours her heart and soul into every endeavor. She's the founder and creative director of Jillian Harris Design, Team Jilly, and the Jilly Box, and is also a co-host on HGTV's Love It or List It Vancouver. She is the co-author of the book Fresh Food, Full Hearts, a collection of recipes for everyday and casual celebrations, along with co-author Tori Wesszer. Jillian first came into the spotlight as a contestant on the 13th season of The Bachelor. She was then chosen to return as the Bachelorette. Welcome, Jillian.
That is quite the introduction, and I feel pretty good about myself right now. Well, everybody should write themselves a little introduction. So in the morning when you're like not sure what direction you're headed in that day, you can be like, hi, I'm, let's pick somebody here. Somebody that's actually got a real name here. Come on, let's go. Next one, 𝐭𝐻𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐿. And I am amazing. I'm lovely. And I made my bed this morning.
You just picked our show producer, Jessica Ramito. Shout out, Jessica.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
But it's true, right? Because if you don't take time to actually hear those words spoken about yourself in third person, you forget the things that you've done.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like I'm very lucky because of this little path that I've taken, you know, getting to do these interviews and getting to do that stuff. It reminds you every day, like, oh, I worked really hard and I'm really good. Like, I think sometimes people get in their routine and they forget to tell themselves that they're a badass and that they work hard and that they're accomplishing a lot, even if it's just making their bed and feeding themselves. Like, it doesn't really matter. You're keeping yourself alive. You're keeping a positive attitude. There's small little wins every day. And I think people just need to remind themselves of that, because in this world of Instagram, comparison can be the thief of joy. And so I think everybody just needs to kind of focus on themselves and their small wins, because even though I might have like a lot of Instagram followers or a business or whatever it is, doesn't necessarily mean that I am the most successful or always the most happy. God, you should have seen us this morning. Justin and I were grumbling and cursing at each other and huffing and puffing. And I was like, go downstairs. I was like, oh, you know, I just wanted to strangle him. So, and like you said, people see what's on Instagram and they think, oh, this person has such a beautiful house or a beautiful life or whatever. But there's a saying that I love, and that everybody's perfect until you get to know them. Everybody's normal until you get to know them. And everybody has their own crap that they're dealing with.
But that's, I think, Jillian, why people connect to you so much and have since the beginning, because you're the kind of person who shows real life and embraces, and you do, and it's admirable. So that's why, like, the people who we want to hear from on Together We Rise are people who are willing to share the behind the scenes story, and we're so grateful for that. So to kick off today, why don't you just tell us a little bit about how COVID has impacted your life and your career?
It is a roller coaster. You know, there are days that I am like grateful and thankful for this opportunity because we're healthy and I get to spend more time with my kids, more time with my fiance. I get to slow down a little bit. I get to spend my mornings with the kids and my evenings with the kids, whereas before I was working so much, I was running out of the house. It was such a chaotic lifestyle. And so there are days where I'm actually grateful for it and happy for it. But personally, there are days that it is a struggle. I mean, yes, I think Justin and I are doing fairly well, but we definitely are getting under each other's skin a little bit without going to work or going to see my parents or Justin's parents, or, he golfing, shopping, going out for drinks with ladies. You kind of, there's a reason why those things exist in the world and why they make people feel good. And so after 2 months of not having that, it can put you on edge for sure. I think even the kids, they miss their cousins, they miss their friends at daycare, they miss going to gymnastics and whatnot. And kids, I think, are struggling as well. When this first happened, the first week, I actually texted my doctor. By the way, I have her phone number because of Jilly Box and whatnot, so we have a personal relationship. But I texted her and I said, I think my medication for my thyroid is making me crazy. I think it's making me depressed because I'm very agitated and I'm very on edge and I'm snappy. And I took a frying pan and like slammed it on the counter just because I had such bad anxiety. And I said, I think it's this medication. And she's like, we can take you off of it, but it also might be the situation that's happening right now. And I subconsciously realized that without the things that make me happy, I love grocery shopping. I love grocery shopping so much. That was weird. I was wearing a mask in the grocery store. I love connecting with people in the grocery store, saying hi, talking about pasta and stuff like that. So I felt weird and awkward. All the things that bring me joy, I wasn't able to do. And it was making me crazy. And I realized that's what it was. It wasn't my medication. And so I really had to take a step back and I had to stop watching a lot of news. I had to stop scrolling on Facebook. There's a lot of people who are, getting onto these conspiracy theories and whatnot, which was kind of, making me angry because everybody's entitled to their own opinion, I guess. But what happens is in a situation like this is when you start developing a conspiracy theory that goes against keeping people safe, then your theory is actually putting other people at risk and at harm. Yeah. So if you want to have a conspiracy theory about politics or whatever in your own head, that's fine. But when it's actually putting others at risk and our frontline workers at risk and our elderly, the immune compromised risk, I find that to be very selfish. And so that was giving me anxiety. And I was finding on Facebook, people who I love were having different opinions than me. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know either. Nobody really knows. But all I know is that regardless, I want to keep my family safe and my community safe. And so if that means just staying home and trying to physical distance, then I'm going to shut up. I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to do it. So they're actually, the theories might be right, but staying home and being safe is going to it's going to make sure that we're covering all the bases. So I was finding I was kind of making myself crazy. And so I just started implementing some things, less screen time. Also another thing, sorry, I'm babbling, but Justin and I started a schedule where I work mornings and he works afternoons, and we swap with the kids. But what I was doing is, on my time with the kids, I wasn't working, but I was still on my phone. I still had the news on, and I found that wasn't good for my mental health and it wasn't good for the kids either. So now at 12:30, I'm like, no more phones, no more. I do the odd Instagram story. I'm trying to get the kids out of the house, whether it be in the yard or go for a little drive, trying to bake with the kids so that I am not working all day long. I might have the kids, but the kids need me. And so I hope I'm not the only mother that's done that, but that was something that I learned. So now we're 2 months into this. We're used to the schedule. Also, I have to say, I'm very grateful and lucky, but that before this, we had childcare. And we also had a house cleaner and we had dog walkers. So now we don't have any of that. And I was like, how are we going to do this? Run our businesses, continue to work, have no childcare, stay on top of everything. Justin and I are going to kill each other. But even though there are some days where we still want to. The situation has made you realize you have to be softer with each other and kinder with each other because we have no choice. This is the situation we're in. And I've realized actually I'm capable of more than I thought.
Yes.
The house isn't spick and span, but we're keeping it clean. We have a system. Our kids are alive. We're running our business. It is more difficult than it was before, but I've realized that I think I was making life more complicated than it needed to be before. And I was working more than I needed to. And I was causing unnecessary stress. And this has allowed me to simplify things a little bit. So yeah, there are some days where I miss my mom and dad and I want to hug them and I want to bring my cousins over for wine and I want to go out for wine with the girls and see my team. But this is a small sacrifice to pay in the long run. And I want to keep my community safe. I want to keep my family safe. And I'm going to use that opportunity to slow down a little bit and to take in this time with my family and be a team player. And that's what I'm going to try to do. And hopefully it's over soon because, you know, I don't know if I can do this forever. One day I might lose my mind.
You've touched on so many great things there. And the goal of this show is mental health. We've had therapists on to talk about how to cope and explaining that we are grieving the things that we have lost and left behind. So all of those feelings, you know, of loss and also of anxiety are very real right now. Now, I'm wondering for you, because we see you, Jillian, you know, you're a working, busy mom, you're running big brands, you're on TV, you're doing all the things. What are some of the habits and routines that are like must-dos in your life to help keep you productive, positive, and keep your anxiety in check?
Okay, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this because I know what they are, but I don't do them. But when I start to lose my cool, I'm like, I know why. So waking up in the morning, Kate. So what things I have been trying to do is I've been trying to wake up in the morning, open up all the curtains, crack a window, get some fresh air in, and I go and I make everybody's bed. I bring the kids with me. So making my bed, making Leo's bed, making Annie's bed, and doing a quick little tidy of the bedrooms so we can start on a reset. It only takes less than 10 minutes, and that's one thing that's felt really good. Eating might sound like everybody's eating right now because they're at home, but having a consistent eating routine, continuing with breakfast, lunch, and dinner has been great because we've got kids, so they're used to that routine. But for me, it's helped me as well because your parasympathetic nervous system needs water and food and needs a limit on caffeine and alcohol. And so if you're not monitoring that, then you're going to go downhill fast. So if you want to keep drinking your water and wine, which a lot of us do, you have to make sure you're supplementing that with the right meals and the right, you know, water and whatnot. You're not going to get all of these every day. I did a mental health wellness bingo the other day. Just try to look at that list, try to write these things down and try to check off at least one or two of them a day. Tidying your house, getting some sunlight in, making yourself proper meals. Also, forgiving yourself that you're not going to be as productive now as you were before. Shutting off the news. When this first started, we had CNN and CTV going 24/7. Now we haven't turned on the news in over a week. I check Facebook from time to time. I have the CTV app. I check it maybe once or twice a week now, but we're going to stay inside and keep doing what we're doing and try to keep each other sane until the world, we're going to see the action happening. Trying to get to bed early. You know, we watch the odd Netflix, but I try to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, although the kids and dogs prevent that. So those are just little things. And actually, if you go onto the 𝐭𝐡𝐢𝐬 The Brand Instagram after this, there's like this little mental health bingo, and you can print that off and then just print that off. And then every day, just look at it and just see if you can get one bingo a day. Don't do all the things, but try to just get one bingo a day. And once you do a few of those things, it's gonna be addictive, and you're gonna try to want to do all of them.
I really like that, and I'm gonna check out the bingo, and we're gonna share that because that sounds amazing. Now I want to talk about this. for a second?
Oh, my new love, my new love.
Okay, Jillian, I read your bio. You know, there's so many things in there. You are also the bread queen. Okay, talk to us about the role of cooking in your life and what that means for you and your family.
I do believe that food is love, and in every culture, there's always a baba or a mom or an aunt that just loves to cook, and that's how a lot of people show love, men and women. Justin likes to cook, but he doesn't really because I'm a bit of a micromanager in the kitchen, and also I think I'm a good cook, and so he's like, well, I cook when Jillian can do it. And I really do enjoy it. I start thinking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner the day before, and it's an art form for me. It's cathartic. It gets me I'm always experimenting in the kitchen, and you're using your hands. It means your phone is down. I usually have a glass of wine while I'm cooking dinner anyway. It's not breakfast. That's a mimosa. But it is. And you know, bread, I used to make buns, Tori's buns, but the sourdough thing I really love because I've learned a lot about sourdough, that it actually has health benefits different than just your plain white bread because of the way it's fermented. And the longer you let it ferment in the fridge, the more health benefits it has. And I always thought bread was so bad for you, but I love bread. So I'm like, if I can make bread healthy, then I am addicted. I'm getting in. So I think I did 10 loaves of bread this week, but I'm now officially out of flour. So I've got to go and find some more flour. I got to go into the grocery store for the first time in like 3 weeks tomorrow morning.
Oh my goodness. And Tori Wesszer is actually going to be joining us in a few weeks for Together We Rise as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Yes. Your cookbook together looks amazing. Like they look like very doable, delicious dishes. And so I'm really excited to check that out. And I think your sourdough bread, we're getting so many comments. Only you can make like a sourdough bread journey that entertaining. You got your little starter.
Yeah, my little baby. Yeah, it's so funny. It is quite complicated, but the first few batches, I was like, this is complicated. Like, I'm just gonna, first of all, how is a loaf of sourdough anywhere from $5 to $12? From now on, I'm never going to take a loaf of sourdough for granted. Those things should be like $500 a pop. And the little steps, it really helps you get your mind off things. And I'm really enjoying it. And then when you bring this beautiful loaf of bread out of the oven and then you toast it with a little bit of like vegan butter and honey, or just a slice of tomato or avocado, there's nothing better.
I love that. Well, we're getting down to the conclusion of our interview, but before we go to our lightning round, I want to ask you our sponsored question related to mental health. So when we started Together We Rise, we had a mental health partner called First Session join us. It's firstsession.com. And basically they make it easy for people to go on there and find and connect with a therapist, all online. And in light of COVID, some of the therapists are offering reduced rates, which is just phenomenal. So we partnered together on this question, which is, there's still some stigma in society about mental health and going to see a mental health professional. Why do you think it's important to break down the stigma around mental illness and around therapy?
Well, hold on a second here. What are you looking for? What are you going to use those for?
My bubblegum machine.
His bubblegum machine. He came in here to get coins for his bubblegum machine. Get one for Annie too, and then and then Mom has to finish this interview. Okay.
Hi, Leo.
I'll get one for you and Dad.
Oh, thank you so much. And then can you let Mom finish?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, bud.
You're welcome.
Okay, see you later.
See you later, Mom.
So
He's
cute.
in here. Well, first of all, so mental health illnesses actually kind of run in our family. We have depression and bipolar that runs in our family. And so it's something that I'm actually very, very familiar with and I've grown up with. You know, family members being in the ICU in the mental health department of the hospital, suicide, schizophrenia, lots of stuff. So, and I feel like every family has somebody who's dealt with it. Okay. Hey, Dad, can you help Leo? I'm just in the middle of an interview.
I love this. This is real life with Jillian Harris right here.
Yeah,
what it means to be a mom.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm sorry to this very important call about mental health must be put on pause so that I can get the bubblegum machine now. Yeah, here you go.
climb over the gate now.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Okay.
Sorry for your drop.
That's okay.
Hi.
Yeah. So it's something that I'm very familiar with, and I really actually love talking about it because there still is a stigma. There still is a stigma, and I think it's because mental health affects the way you behave, and people believe the way you behave or the way you feel is something that you can control, and that is absolutely not true. So when you have a mental illness, it can be situational or it can be chemical. So for example, something like the situation with COVID can make you have feelings like you have a mental health issue. It could give you anxiety, it can give you depression, it could turn you onto substance abuse, gambling, shopping, all these kinds of things, and it can make you go crazy. And then there's also mental illness that is chemical related, which really requires a medicine. You really need medicine, and therapy as well. But it is really so important. So Justin and I actually have a relationship therapist that we have had basically since the day we started dating. We've been struggling since day one. But I think
it's real.
Yeah, it's real, and we work on it really hard, and we really learn the skills and the tools to help us with the way we react with each other, the way we deal with our stress, the way we deal with our anxiety, the way we communicate. I also have a stress coach manager that I actually have available for my entire team. So the way it works with my team is they have her number and her email. And if they are experiencing any signs of depression, anxiety, overwhelming, nervousness, anger, whatever, they can see her and they can use her, no questions asked, and I pay the bill. So it doesn't matter what my bill is for every month. I don't care if it's $1,000 or $5,000. If my team needs that support, then that is a service that I offer. And it is something that, because I've seen my family go through it, and these days there's a lot of pressure with being a working mom, a stay-at-home mom, social media, busy lives, that it is really important. And so then there may be a situation where you have a chemical imbalance, and that's okay, because that's the same as having diabetes, cancer, anything else. Your body is just missing a few things. There's an imbalance of different chemicals, and so you may need a medication to help you level some of that out, and that's okay. I take thyroid medication every day, and I'm not ashamed of that. So why would I be ashamed if I had to take an antidepressant or a mood stabilizer? And so that is something that is really, really important for people to know, that once you feel yourself behaving differently or irrationally, or it's affecting your lifestyle, your relationships, your work, to go see somebody and really work hard the same way you would as if you felt like you broke your arm, or you felt like you had diabetes, or you were having any kind of health issue. So it is so, so important. And I love that company, First Session. I think that's really great, because especially online, a lot of times when people want to start seeing a therapist, it's nerve-wracking that you're going to have to go and find somebody. You're going to have to make an appointment. You have to drive there. You have to see them face to face. I think a lot of times people feel, even like the sourdough course that I'm taking, it was so much easier for me to take a sourdough course online than it was if I had to book it and go and drive down. And so I think that will really help people be less intimidated to see a therapist, because they can do it from their comfort of their own home. They can hide away, and then they can, and yeah, I just think that's really awesome. That's really great.
Jillian, it's so, so powerful to have you say that. And the reaction that you're getting right now is phenomenal. Like the people who we've had reach out and talk about what they're struggling with, it's when we speak about our own story, it gives permission for other people to do the same thing. So by you being a champion and a leader and someone who's doing all of these great things, but also, dealing with their own stuff and putting that out into the spotlight, it just is breaking down barriers for people tuning in and people listening today. So I really just appreciate and thank
one
you for
more
that.
thing, sorry, I want to say is to look out for those. Maybe they're people that you aren't in touch with as often, or maybe friends or family are changing. Just reaching out and checking in with people, because I don't know if it's the news or what it is, but there seems to be a little surge of whether it be violence or whether it be just like there's just, I see some stuff going on out there in the news that tells me that people are not getting checked in on, or they're not checking in on themselves. So just looking out for those signs for somebody and catching it early and letting them know, like, I've noticed this. Are you okay? Maybe I can talk to you. Maybe there's somebody else you can talk to. Sharing your own insecurities with them so they feel more normal. Maybe saying, hey, I go to a therapist. Have you thought of going to somebody as well, to help people recognize it in themselves? Because sometimes people are struggling, but they don't realize it because their imbalance might be off, or they're just really overwhelmed. So just really looking at friends and family and people in your community and how you can help them.
Absolutely. And I see people asking for the website. It's firstsession.com. They're our mental health partner, and you can find a therapist that feels like the right fit for you. You watch videos with all of the therapists, so you can actually feel like you have a personal connection even before you have that first outreach. So that's awesome. Okay, I could obviously talk to Jillian about all of the things she's doing forever, but she's a very busy lady, and we want to move to the last part of today's chat, which is our lightning round. 10 quick questions, Jillian, to get to know you better. Okay, first up, what makes you a good person to be quarantined with?
I can cook, I can bake, I put a good good meal on the table.
We can just supplement this as the answer.
Yes.
Okay, the flip side to that is, what could potentially make you a not so great person to be quarantined with?
I'm busy. I'm really busy, and I'm always still just distracted. Like, even though I try to implement all these things, I find, like, even Justin said last night, like, what about me? Like, I want to talk to you. What about me? And I'm like, I'm going to bed. So I feel like I still need to find ways to categorize my time and just be still a little bit more present.
We're always a work in progress, right? So
totally.
That's awesome. Favorite quote to keep you motivated?
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And also, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's real good. I like that one. Your go-to pump-up song?
Oh, God. Lately, it's probably like Moana, the Where You Are. I'm listening to lots of kids' music these days, and some good Frozen. I'm only listening, and Rod Stewart. I love a good Rod Stewart song.
Oh, I love that. I get to play your song recommendations for tomorrow's guest, who's a
perfect.
body positive activist. She's going to love it.
I love it.
Your current at-home workout?
Non-existent. Running after my kids. Cleaning.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm always looking for an excuse not to go to the gym. I'm like, oh, I couldn't find a parking spot. I wrote the date down wrong. I couldn't find my shoe, and now I've got the perfect excuse. There's a global pandemic.
That's
perfect.
True. Your go-to healthy snack?
Probably avocado, but I usually like it on toast. Is that healthy?
Yes.
Avocado
and
toast.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Book recommendation?
Well, I haven't read, but listen, the last real book that I read, no, that's not true. I thought I read a book a while back and it was good. But yeah, I'm sorry, but especially right now, and especially if you're alone during COVID, 50 Shades of Grey. It just makes your mind escape into lovely little crazy places. I'm not really a book person. I kind of wish that I was, because I feel like that would be really good for me. I started a few books, but I've never recently finished them.
Are you more of like a podcast person, or?
No, I can't really focus on anything. Somebody said I might have ADHD. I probably do.
Oh boy.
Well, that's fine. Then whatever. If I do, I do. I'm doing an online course for sourdough right now. I find I love work. I just don't know when to have time. Like, by the time I put the kids to bed and tidy the house and, do a little Facebook, a little Instagram, it's bedtime.
Yes. No, exactly. I don't know how you'd have time either. So that's good. And how about your Netflix show recommendation?
Okay. So, it's so weird, because also another thing I'm not doing a lot of, but we watch a lot of Paw Patrol, a lot of Dora the Explorer. But Justin and I have been watching a show called Ozarks.
Yes.
And it's so weird because it's about drugs, money laundering, murder, all these things that give me anxiety. But for some reason, it's our guilty pleasure. So we're watching that. But I have never watched Dragon King, or I did watch, oh God, what's it called? Where the people first love at first sight? No.
Yeah. Love is Blind? I don't
Love
know.
is Blind.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's so good. Okay, I don't really get into anything, and I watched the whole season in like 48 hours. It was so good.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
that's awesome. And I think the Ozark, like I've been watching that too. I think what's like the redeeming quality is that the family sticks together.
Yes. But
You
I
know?
told them to get on a freaking plane and move to Australia. Like, why are you putting yourselves through this? This is horrible. But anyways.
All right, we're down to the last two questions. The next one, I don't even know, Jillian, because it's really asking you if there's any new skill that you're learning. I guess your course would be an example of that.
That definitely making sourdough for sure, and learning how to put boundaries on work and working less but still accomplishing. Like yeah, my business could be more fruitful or more successful if I worked more, but I'm still paying my employees. I'm still doing okay. It's like sometimes we do more than we have to. So I'm learning how to just say no and be okay with that.
And lastly, where can people connect with you and find out a bit more about some of the things and projects you have going on outside of this live today?
So definitely Instagram, Jillian.Harris, and then our website. I don't think a lot of people go onto the website, but we do at least a new blog a day, and we talk a lot about raising kids, recipes, the cookbook, products that we love, small brands that we love, mental health, motherhood, all kinds of stuff.
Amazing. And can we just take a moment of appreciation for your arm? Like, I don't know if people know that this is actually a tiring workout after a while of holding up your phone. That's the other workout.
Yeah, my arm is, I actually have a tripod and I could have used that, but this, when I'm doing like, when I'm talking to somebody, this just feels natural. Like it feels like a FaceTime. It feels more personal. It feels like a selfie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Jillian, so much good wisdom today. Thank you for everything that you're doing to support small business, to empower women, to shine a light on mental health and mental illness, and for taking the time to be here and talk with me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Katie. You hang in there. You're beautiful. It was so awesome chatting with you.
Thank you. Right back at you, and to everybody tuning in. Together, we're going to rise. We're going to make it to the other side of COVID-19. And when we have inspiring guests like Jillian Harris giving us some of her wisdom and advice, we're definitely going to make it feeling uplifted and empowered. And today's episode is actually being recorded. So within a few hours, it'll be up live on my profile at Katie Zeppieri, so you can go back and get all of those great recommendations.
Sounds awesome. Thanks, Katie. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Take care, guys.